Thank you so much, Brian, for joining Adam and I on this special video for mPact, really representing the winners of the Spotlight Award. So congratulations, first and foremost, on being one of the winners selected. What a special treat that we get to spotlight you out of 70 nominations. It was just an incredible outpouring of amazing candidates, and for us to select you is really a true testament to everything you're doing in the industry and in your community. So congratulations. I'm happy you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
I will quickly just introduce myself. So Ashley Yarbanek, I'm the Director of Member Relations here at MBA, and I also run the residential side of mPact, Young Professionals Group. And I will hand it over to Adam to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Adam Wayne. I am a senior account executive. I cover delegated, non-delegated sales with PennyMac on the West Coast. And I've been a member of the mPact Leadership Committee for about a year now. And Brian, over to you.
Yes, I am Brian Lavelle. I am a loan officer at Absolute Home Mortgage. A little backstory on myself. So I was brought into the industry by family. So a lot of family in the business, and began working at the age of 18. I really started from the bottom of the totem pole. I was pretty much filing papers, helping out, doing some very low-level processing work. I went on to college. I was able to continue working, doing a lot of odd jobs around the company. And I was really able to see all the different aspects of the business, and was really able to get a vision of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be at in the industry. Being an LO and loan originating, that always stood out to me because it's very unique. You deal with different problem solving. Everyone has a unique financial situation that you have to navigate. That really drew me to the business and made me want to go and get my license. So I actually did take my exam in my college dorm room, which is kind of an interesting experience. I had 5 roommates, and I had to shut them all out, and I had to tell them that they cannot make any noise, because in the beginning of the exam, the proctor told me that if there was any noise in the background at all, my exam would be voided. So that's a little interesting story that I think is very unique, that I did do it in my college dorm room. But I've been now a licensed LO for a year and a half. I graduated school this past May, and I have now been on full-time. I'm working for a branch at Absolute, and so far I love it.
That's awesome. First and foremost, how is there 5 guys in a dorm room?
Well,
How do you comprehend how small of a room that is for 5 guys?
yeah, so I went to a very small school. So it's a lot of on-campus living. So they called it a suite. It was 3 separate bedrooms with 2 of us in each of them, and then a little common room area. But it did tend to get pretty noisy in the common room area. So that was definitely an obstacle. I had to make sure that everyone, for the 2 hours that I was taking the exam, everyone did not say a peep.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome. I commend you for doing it in that setting. I feel like that would be not only do you have anxiety on the test, but you have anxiety outside of some college guy just bust through the door. Or it's rare to have somebody as young as you take the exam still in college, and so that's great. One thing that I saw and kind of stood out in your nomination form, and I will go ahead and read it just because it is something that is really crucial to our industry. It says he represents not only youth joining the mortgage workforce, but also their early interest in industry advocacy. Advocacy is one of the most important factors of our industry, and I would love to know more about your passion around it, your interest surrounding that.
I was in a little bit of a unique situation. I was a business undergrad student, and I've actually started my master's. I started a little bit early. So I'm a current finance master's student, and I've been working in this industry since I was 18. And one of the things that really stood out to me, and I always talk to my mentors about this, is throughout college, the mortgage industry was something that was really not talked about, and it wasn't pushed as a possible career path. And me already being in it, I knew it was something that interested me. And it was always, I talked to a lot of my finance professors And a lot of them just really didn't know too much about the mortgage industry. And especially kids my age, it is such a fulfilling industry. And a lot of kids my age and kids I went to school with really didn't know what it was. They knew what mortgages were, but they didn't know possible career paths in the industry. And they didn't really just know anything about like what you could do in the industry, how you help people out on a daily basis. So right when I graduated and I was on full time and being an LO, I was invited to the regional conference of MBAs to be a speaker and to represent the youth. And at first I was like, wow, I'm so young. Like, I don't know if I don't know if I fit the criteria for this. But when it was further explained to me by the leaders of why they wanted me there to give a voice to the young people and to show like these higher level executives how they should push our industry and how to get like this new age of industry professionals, like the new generation, how we can get them excited and wanting to join the industry and keep it growing. So that is something that I thought was very important. And it was really fulfilling to be up there and to speak to people who were years older than me. There was not a lot of people that were my age there. But to see how they were interested in what I had to say, that was awesome to me. Like, I didn't think a lot of people would want to attend my panel. And I had some very, very distinguished other young professionals with me. So applause to them as well. But they were very interested to see what we had to say. And even me being so young, like they asked a lot of questions and they wanted to pick our brains on, what exactly they're showing in college in terms of like AI and stuff like that, what we're learning. And I think it's good. I think it's good to pass this knowledge along and to show people like we have to get people excited about the mortgage industry, and people my age. This is the next generation, and we're going to have like a whole new wave of home buyers. And we're the first people that are my age. We're the first home buyers that we had a cell phone in our face 24/7. We always had instant answers to everything. So it's a completely different kind of home buyer that's entering into the market. So navigating that's really important to me, is just inspiring people and showing people how we can inspire people into the industry and also how we can navigate these new home buyers that are coming in.
Brian, that's a great point that I haven't really thought of, but you do have a new wave of home buyers and the younger generation. Your age and, in that millennial and younger can relate to them more. And you see more younger people getting into the mortgage industry now, than when I started. And I remember going through your nomination and similarities of how I started and how you started. You're actually a little younger than me, but it was right after college. But I guess a question is, you said that it's talked about more in college as a profession. Is it talked about it's not a major, but when you're in finance, mortgage industry, is that brought up in class?
Yes and no. I mean, mortgages, they're talked about in general, but the different career paths that you could take, like being an LO, that's not really something that's pushed. So it's more like, I always thought going into college and everything that I would go and work on Wall Street. That's more of the career path that's pushed, is especially us being in New Jersey. It's Wall Street. They want to inspire everyone to Wall Street's their dream. That is one thing that I just thought lacked, is they didn't have a lot of positivity about, not they didn't have negativity about the industry, but I feel like the industry could be talked about more. That's what I kind of wanted to do. Like I let a lot of my peers know about how fulfilling this business can be and really just what it is. And a lot of my professors, like, they taught about mortgages. The 2008 financial crisis is a major topic in every single finance class that I was in. But in terms of the mortgage industry as a career path, it's something that just needs to be talked about more. And that's kind of what I wanted to inspire in college and to all my peers, right, and to my professors, like, hey, this is a very viable career path, and this is an awesome financial career path that you could go on.
Right, good point. So, and also with the young professionals, you see a lot of, mPact is focused on the under 40s in the mortgage industry, the young professional network, but you do have a lot of mortgage professionals that that don't get involved in advocacy or don't get involved in more than just themselves, right? So they're not giving back or not putting out that message like you are. That was really the thing that drew us, was the young professional aspect, and then the committee and the speaking engagement. And that's just something to continue.
Say you're on a panel, you said that you were speaking on a panel with people that are already in the industry. You have young professionals and maybe some older professionals as well, but a room full of young professionals that already they're already in the business. And I think one of the things, and I'm going to touch on it in a second, with you being on the Young Professionals Committee with the New Jersey MBA, if you're in a room really wanting to get these young professionals more involved or more engaged within the industry as a whole, but what would you say is kind of drives you in really taking on more of like the leadership role within the industry, or as Adam said, like the advocacy side of just really getting involved in the industry as a whole outside of like your daily duties?
I would say in terms of the advocacy side, pushing people to, do we want to keep seeing this industry improve? Do we want to keep seeing it get better? Do we want to keep seeing it like our jobs get better, our lives get better? Do we want to keep seeing like improvements in different home buying programs? Those, every single thing that, and I always commend MBA for, they're always down fighting for different issues and different topics. And that's very important to the business. It's what keeps this business moving forward and what keeps it improving. That's really what I would push is, do we want to just stay stagnant, or do you want to keep improving? I mean, there's one thing that's always consistent in the world, and it's always change. So we have to just keep adapting to the different changes that are going on. As the MBA and everyone keeps advocating and fighting, the industry keeps getting better and it keeps progressing and it keeps growing. And I think that is what I would really, really push forward.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. It's about our voice, everyone's voice in the industry, and the more that participate, the more likelihood that things can get done, which is a benefit not only to you and people in the mortgage industry, but the end would be the home buyer, right, or the borrower.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the voice that the MBA has, and you telling people that, and young professionals, for instance, that they need to do more and they need to participate in MBA efforts, mPact, for instance, that is vital to this industry. And I was about 30 when I realized that, got involved, and that's the message that I've been spreading too. And it sounds like you're on target for that, and you obviously recognize the benefits of that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I feel is very important. Important not only for myself, but for my company, for my friends that are in the business that work for different companies. It's important for everyone to just keep improving the industry and keep fighting for it to become better and to change as everything else changes, to change positively.
Well, we're going to have to get you down to the National Advocacy Conference. It's probably one of the best conferences I go to annually. It's in DC every spring, usually in either March or April. The MBA legislative team put together an incredible 2 days. They print out this entire residential policy issues book. And then the second day, you go in your state cohort. And last year, they set up over 250 meetings with different congressmen, senators, staffers, and you go around to your different state delegation and talk and just share your story. And it's our turn to educate them about our industry. And so it's so important for young professionals, especially, to be involved in that and see the power that our voice does have with not only the industry, but the government officials that are making these laws or passing these laws or putting these into bills, and really shows the MBA's advocacy efforts. So we're going to have to get you down to DC in the spring.
Yeah, Brian, I've been a number of times, and it really is quite the experience. The people you meet, the things that you learn, the contacts that you make, from just in our industry, but also your state representatives. The feeling you get too that this industry, it's bigger, right? Just have a fulfillment when you leave, knowing that you have made a difference. So yeah, it's definitely something that you should attend.
One thing that was actually very, very cool, and I think inspired me to keep attending more conferences. When I went to the regional conference of MBAs in Atlantic City, there was a couple people from National MBA that came down. They did a few panels on what they're currently fighting for and what issues they're tackling. And you don't realize, like working as an LO, you don't realize everything that's going on in the back end. Like until you see that and until you see the lists of all of the stuff that they're currently working on, you really you don't grasp how much work goes on in the back end for our industry. And that I would say inspires you to keep wanting to advocate because you see how much work that the MBA is putting in.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. And one thing I would recommend too is on your state association is I don't know if they have committees or if it's just chairs or vice chairs, but being on that advocacy committee and then working yourself up to the chair of that, you'll be in on the state level and some national level meetings and reading bills that your state house has and Senate. And you'll learn a lot from that too. And that's just another quality experience that you should get.
I would love to just get more involved in MBA and whatever committees I could join. It's something I'm very passionate about. So
yeah, and I would also say keep advancing in the state association with the advocacy efforts and the young professional committee. Keep growing that and spreading that around.
All right, Brian. Well, congratulations again on winning the Young Professional Spotlight Award. I commend you for everything you're doing. It was so great to get to know you and getting to chat with you, and just keep pushing forward. And so happy to have you as part of the Young Professionals group. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Yep. Congrats, Brian.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.